Well, hello there YouTubers, welcome back to another episode of Skywind007. On today's episode we're going to learn how to power this heater right here with your car. So to do that you need a heater that operates with less than 1000 watts. So this one's perfect because this one has two settings and one of them is less than 1000 watts. And of course you need a power inverter that can do the highest amount possible, 1000 watts. And you need a car. So we're going to connect this to this inverter and the inverter connects to the car. And that's it. I've done it before and it does work. Of course this is not going to heat up your entire house, but it's better than nothing. So I mean, if this can help you survive, that's a good thing. So let's go to the garage. Okay folks, so we are in the garage and we have our heater and inverter, and you're likely going to need an extension to get the heater from the inverter all the way into your house, and you're going to want to get the thick one, the high power for power tools. I believe this is a 12 gauge, and that's the kind of extension that you need. If you use that Christmas extension, the Christmas light extension, that's going to melt. That's not going to work out for heaters. So you have to be very careful how you do this unless you want your home to catch fire. So make sure you get the right extension. It has to be this thick one. So let's do the connections. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is connect the wires to the battery with the engine off, and then connect this to one of these two. So let me do that off camera because I'm holding the other, I have the other hand used up with the camera. Okay, so that was step number 2. Step number 3 is connect the well, you can do that later. Step number 3, you can turn on this if you want. Well, you have to. You can hear it making that noise. Step number 4, you can hear it turned off, so that's a good thing. Step number 4, we're going to connect the heater to the extension cord. And the last step is going to be to turn on the engine. So let's do that. Okay, so here is our heater. So let me try to do this with one hand. And never mind, let me do it off camera. Okay, so it is connected. So right now it's only on battery mode. I have to turn on the engine so we can run the heater and not just the fan. So let me do that. Okay, so it's turned on. Oh, you have to move the thermostat. I know you can't hear it, but it is running. That's off right now, so you can't hear anything. And that's on. You just want to run it on low. So it's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so before we go, I do want to point out a few things. Like I was saying, I don't know if you could hear me because the engine was running, but when you're running it from the car, you can only do fan or low. If you do high, this is automatically going to shut off, and then you risk blowing a fuse in your car, so you don't want to do that. You only want to run it on low because low is less than 1000 watts. So that's one thing you need to know. Like I said, the other thing you need to know is that you're gonna have to use the right extension. That very thick wire. If you're gonna run this from an extension, you need the thick wire. I believe that's a 12 gauge wire, and that's the one that's appropriate for power tools. So do not use a Christmas tree extension because that will melt. The other thing you need to know is that this particular inverter comes with this right here. This plugs into your power socket inside the car, the 12 volt, power socket. Do not use this. If you try to use this and then run a heavy appliance like this, you will burn out a fuse. And it's not going to be your car's fuse, it's going to be a fuse within here, possibly. I don't know if this has a fuse, but certainly this is going to shut down anyway, so it's not going to even make any difference, because this is going to detect that it's receiving only, I believe, 250 watts from this kind of connection, and this is going to be drawing 800 watts from that connection. So it knows the difference, and it's going to shut off automatically. So every time you make a mistake like that, you're going to have to go out to your garage and reset everything. So you do not want to use this, number one, and you only want to use this little heater on the low settings, not on the high settings. That means under 1000 watts, this is the maximum 1000 watts. So those are the two things that you need to know about this. Of course, this has two connections right here. You do not want to use two heaters. You don't want to run two heaters from these two connections, because they're going to add up to over 1000 watts. So the unit's going to automatically shut off. So that's the next thing you want to do. You can't trick this into thinking that it's less than 1000 watts. It has a meter inside, and it does know when it's over 1000 watts, and it just automatically shuts off. And every time that happens, you're going to have to go out into the snow and reset everything. Remember, when you connect this to the battery, car's battery, you want to connect this to the negative. The black one goes to the negative terminal. The red one goes to the positive terminal. And if you don't know which connection in your car goes to the negative terminal, it's simple. The negative terminal goes to the chassis of the car, the body of the car. So you're going to see this that negative wire go to the body of the car. The positive is always isolated from the body of the car. So you're not going to connect this to the positive. And they're usually color coded on the connections on the battery are color coded. And if you still can't figure it out, just look at the battery. The battery on the positive side, it'll have a plus sign, and on the negative side, it'll have a minus sign. So you have to connect these the right way. Otherwise, it's going to automatically shut off. So this has an internal safety system that when you reverse connect them, it just shuts off. So you're not going to be able to run the heater. And the last thing you want to know, because I already tested this, is that you do need to have the engine running. If you try to just connect this to the battery and then try to run this heater, there's just not enough power to do that. It's going to automatically shut off. Even if you could do that, the problem is that the battery is not powerful enough to run this for maybe longer than 2 minutes, 5 minutes maximum. So you wouldn't want to do that anyway. You don't want to run this for just 5 minutes. You want to run it as long as possible. So you do have to turn on the engine. If you turn on the engine, make sure that the garage door is open. You do not want to run a car inside a garage where the doors are closed, because you don't want to kill yourself with carbon monoxide poisoning. And I guess that's it for now. So thank you for watching. Subscribe and thumbs up.
Thank you for watching Skywind007. Please give us a like and subscribe.